Yo, what's up? It's Jason here with True City.
Year.
We're chilling in New York. We're gonna go through this new EP while you were sleeping. It's your second album,
man,
right?
Sophomore album.
Sophomore album. And so, in case you don't know, True City, tell them where you're from.
My name's True City, man. I'm from a little place on the side of the map called Virginia, Newport News to be exact. It's like I'm a country kid, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, man, I moved there about 7 years ago to New York City, and just the American struggle, sleeping on people's floors and couches, and finally getting a chance to just release music, just to anybody who would really listen, man. Just a really humble process of the way we've put out music over the years. So I just want to kind of stick to the indie route and just touch people organically. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So you've been in New York for a minute. You put out the first album. How is this? Take us through the process. How is this album different than the first one?
Well, when I was working on the prologue, man, I was just dirt poor. Like, I was like working 2 jobs, and I was trying to save up any amount of money I can get for studio time. And the process of wanting to get the studio and actually put out music, I was like, wow, I spent 9-10 months, man, just on this project whenever I could afford to go to the studio. But I cared that much about the project that I spent that time. So diving into this record, a friend of mine was like, yo, you need some equipment, so I got the home studio.
Nice.
And then you can hear the difference in the way the music is delivered, because like I more have time to make sure my ad lib is correct or my note is right. Anything. So I feel like with this album, it's very, very precise. I mean, more than my first album where I was just trying to get the words out.
Yeah, you can tell like there's a whole concept in this album. It starts off right with this mood and the vibe, and your mom is talking on the back. Tell us a little about your mom. I feel like it's only so often you hear a mom on a rap album.
Well, my mom, this is crazy. A friend actually just told me, yo, my mom doesn't even talk to me like that, and I wish my mother talked to me like that. That's really how she is all the time. When I speak to her, she's very like she drives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She works hard, and she just doesn't allow me to slack or allow me to feel sorry for myself. You know what I mean? Every time I talk to her, I'm like, I'm not doing well, I'm sad. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? Get up. What are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So my mom has just always been very supportive and making sure that I stick to what it is that I say I'm going to do.
Yeah, moms are always supportive like that, and you need that support around you. And you were just telling us about a fan that you bumped into today who was like vibing off the track.
Bro,
what happened with that?
Yo, like it was crazy today. Just like a fan hit me up and he was just like, yo, like come to the crib, man. Like I want to share some ideas with you. And I'm also just a big fan of your music. And then I found out he was a creative. I mean, and he had just amazing ideas. And my music gave him that inspiration. You know what I mean? For when he's creating his ideas, And that just blew my mind, man. Just to sit there and experience somebody who knows every word of every song, and I just put the album out like last month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was just like, wow, if one person feels like this, I have to cherish like every line, every word, like in every moment. Even if it's not 1,000 people or 100,000 people, if one person gets something out of your message, you've done your job as a creative.
Yeah, for sure. And I always appreciate that attitude, because a lot of people might be in it just to have the hit record to get on the radio, and naturally I think every artist wants that. But it's nice when you're in it for the art, you're in it for the inspiration, and you get that from the album. You get the sense of inspiration. Like you get the track "Get Rich," which has thousands of plays. Everyone's vibing with that. Tell us about that. 'Cause I think it's about like succeeding, obviously,
of
I think it also is
has a double meaning. Yeah.
So,
like I mean, get rich in the sense of like, when I say like wealth isn't just attributed to just having money. It's contributed to having happiness, to having balance, to having peace of mind. So riches are a definition of the things that give you peace. You know what I mean? So when I say now it's time to get rich, it's not just talking about money. It's also talking about let's find peace in our brotherhood. Let's help our communities. You know what I mean? Like let's win together. You know what I mean? And to have 1,000 kids or 500 kids yelling, "Now it's time to get rich." That's the most beautiful thing I've ever felt in my life, man.
Exactly. And I feel like there's more of that music today, especially with the rise of like Chance the Rapper, and Drake too, especially. He of course has like emotional tracks and let's just turn up tracks, but I feel like music has really taken, and hip hop especially, it's taken that turn where you know, it's time to inspire the culture, inspire the people. It's not just about like, let's put on jewelry and rock
It's at
out.
what point do you have to become responsible? You know what I mean? For programming. Like, I feel like as artists and creatives, on a day-to-day basis, your music is being rotated in somebody's mind and somebody's mental. You're infecting people's energy. You get what I'm saying? With your words. Like, how dare you? You know what I mean? Like, use that lightly. You know what I mean? Inspire somebody. Tell somebody to go do something with their lives and live with their families and, you know what I mean, spend more time with their loved ones. Like, that's what the messages people need to hear, especially in this day and age when there's so much hate being spread. You know what I mean? We need love. We need positive messages.
Exactly. And even if you're not out there protesting, it's, you know, even just spinning an album like this and someone else hearing it, and I think it, you know, goes with the mood, it goes with the vibe. It's not just all about, like, you know, you can be out there with the sign, obviously, but you can also spread the positivity in other ways.
Yeah, and do your duty. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm not a politician. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, we can't all be politicians.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say like I'm like a lawyer or anything like that. Like, but what I do know is what I feel. You get what I'm saying? Which I feel is an overlooked emotion sometimes.
Yeah.
The ability to feel things, to feel energy.
Sure.
People are very socially awkward in this time because they don't know how to get from behind their phones and sit down with somebody like me and you who just met today and just talk.
Right.
Hello, not behind a computer, not behind a Facebook message. Hello, where are you? Can we meet up and talk?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's what this album feels like. This album is like, yo, please, like, have peace of mind and go out. You know what I mean? And like enjoy like living a real life.
Yeah, for sure. I think we get too caught up behind, you know, statuses and you know, Instagram updates, and it's like, you can do that,
bull, man.
But also, you know, people change the perception. Like, as soon as they're not behind a computer, the attitude kind of washes away, and it's like, you know what, let me be like a professional person at the moment. Let me be a regular human. You know what I mean?
And that's the beauty of living life, because you can't hide your feelings, you can't hide your facial expressions, you can't hide things that are real.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I've met assholes in my life. I've met jerks. I've met the most sweetest, beautiful people, but I love every single one of them because they're real.
Right.
Their emotions are real, whether it's wrong or right. It's nice in this day and age where everything's so robotic to feel something real. You know what I'm saying? And I love that, man.
Exactly. And I can always appreciate, you know, when the emotion that you put into the tracks. You know, like the city, you know, you're talking about your hometown, but it could be anyone's hometown. It's relatable, and I think people, you know, some people don't have a hometown that they can go back to because maybe they've had bad experience, or maybe they have a new hometown. But I feel like the fact that you're saying, you know, you can have that emotion about being in a place that reminds you of your mom or your friends, you know.
Exactly.
It's something powerful to have.
Yeah, I love city, man. And like, even when the last verse is one of my favorites, is just because it's like I'm riding through my city, like I named the exit that I take, you know what I mean? Like, to get out, you know what I mean? It's just like, yo, I took the 250 exit, and then I asked you for directions. Why am I asking for directions in my hometown? Like, it's just embarrassing, and it's just like, wow, man, we lose pieces of ourselves in that journey of chasing your dreams and trying to pay your bills and make a living, but then it's just like, what about the things that you can't take with you when you die?
Right.
Your family, what about those conversations, us having coffee, us having family reunions and going over each other's houses just to like chill and have dinner? What happened to those moments? Are we so, you know what I mean, focused on ourselves that we forget what's most important? So it's that balance, and I feel like that's why the city is such a relatable track, man.
Yeah, because I think like no matter where you are, you know, you there's always going to be, I think people are obsessed with having, you know, millions of followers or thousands or hundreds, but at the end of the day, it's like if you have 3 people that you can hit up, and even if it's your mom and dad, like if you have those people that you can go back to and just sit down, and you don't have to put on an act, you don't have to, you can just be yourself. And,
be yourself, man.
I mean, I think it's the most relatable thing. I think that's what everyone wants.
And honestly, it goes back to what we were saying, like in a world full of where everybody's hiding, there needs to be a place where you don't have to hide.
Exactly.
And some people find that in boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, but it's just like it can't be found behind a computer, and you can't suffocate yourself with work. You know what I mean? To ignore those feelings. You know what I'm saying? You have to really go out, and you need to connect with real people who feel real things just like you do. It's the only way we're going to survive as a human race. The only way we can survive is if we interact with each other and work with each other.
We have to. And, you know, a lot of people are very divided at the moment.
It's ridiculous.
And, you know, I mean, you're never going to have unity if you're always divided.
Of course.
And so I feel like music is always the great uniter. You know, it just unites people. Like regardless of what you believe in, it's like you can be like Trump or Hillary or Republican, Democrat. If you like music, like it doesn't matter. You can have that conversation with that, and you can wind up settling more differences than you realize just by like being at the same venue and like, oh, we both like the same music.
Exactly, you know what I'm saying? And that's what brings me the most joy and why I just feel like I'm so blessed and thankful to have a gift like this to share.
Yeah.
Even if it's in a small way, if it's 100 people that I touch or 50 people, I just touch 50 people who are going to go on and do some positive things. And my role as a creative has been done, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not reaching for anything in particular with this. I'm really just trying to connect with people and make our journeys sound real. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And to the masses, we have real struggles.
Yeah, and those 50 people can, go to another 50 people.
Exactly.
It's the concept of paying it forward.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, you're out here grinding it out, and it's great. I think like, your album touches on a lot of different subjects. It starts off in that mood, it brings you in, and then all of a sudden, it gets ramped up a little bit.
Facts. The aggression comes in.
Yeah, but I think that speaks to a lot of people how they feel on a daily basis. It's like you gotta, like we were saying, you gotta go to work. You have to be a little mellow.
Yeah.
But then when you get out, you want time to get rich.
You really have to focus. Like I'm talking about your focus, my focus. You know what I mean? Like the person sitting behind the desk is focused.
Right.
Like one body needs arms. You know what I mean? It needs legs, it needs feet. Mm-hmm. It needs all of these body parts to work as one unit. You know what I'm saying? Right. And like album songs like While You Were Sleeping, We Up, The Family, like get up. You know what I mean? Like get up and work. You know what I mean? Stop procrastinating. No pity parties. Let's work.
That's why, we all gotta work the 9 to 5, but what you do from 6 to 8 is up to you. And I think this generation especially has really taken that and gone full throttle with it. Like it's not about the 9 to 5. You gotta do 9 to 5 to pay the bills, but like everyone's putting on that side hustle. Everyone has their night job. Yep. Everyone's up late, and we're all trying to achieve a dream, whatever it is. Where we're gonna wind up, I don't know, but
yeah, man. And I mean, at this point, man, like I'm just in a place where I'm tired. I no longer, my mistakes in life were ever feeling like I need to rely on anybody to help my dream. You know what I mean? That some magical giant record label guy is gonna find me in a cafe. Like those days are over. Over. You know what I mean? Like get out here, find where there's a microphone, and you gotta touch people one by one. You're gonna be broke. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be tired.
Yes, sir.
But you have to go hard every day because there's somebody else
that's doing
who's
it.
going ham. You know
right.
What I mean? Like,
exactly.
So like I don't wake up and play. Like as soon as I open my eyes, I'm just like, yo, did you send this email? Yo, did you check in on this?
You gotta hustle.
Yeah, you gotta hustle, bro.
And you look to guys who did it in the past, like Jay-Z or Wayne or anyone. It was all about the music. It wasn't about like I want to do something else in case it doesn't work out. It's like I'm putting 100%, 150% behind this. Yeah. And I'm gonna make it work some way, one way or the other. I'm gonna find a way to make music work for me. Yeah. And I feel like even if we're behind the computers a lot, the internet allows a lot more people to branch out and have a career as a musician. Whereas maybe not everyone can get a venue performance, but like hey, you can sell a beat, or maybe you can connect someone. Maybe there's different ways you can be involved. Even myself being involved digitally, like that didn't exist. 15 years ago. Where would I have been, otherwise? Like, I don't know. But, so I think it's cool that, people can find you, whether it's at a venue or online, it's on SoundCloud, I think that's all really cool, and I think you can touch a lot of people that way.
Yeah, and I think it's dope, man, that I'm able to use social media to connect with strangers. And like I'm the guy that follows you right back, like, cause I don't care about numbers or any of that. Like I really just want to see people living their dreams and doing real things. Like fans post funny memes or like them with their families in like Oregon or something. I'm just like, wow, look at the scenery in Oregon. You know what I mean? Like I really care to connect with just people and see people's lives. Right. Because honestly, man, like I realize every single day that I'm alive that tomorrow isn't promised to me.
Exactly.
So what am I living for? What am I really living for? Like we all walk around with this mentality like, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm just gonna. No, you don't know that. you don't know what's gonna happen to you tomorrow.
No.
Things like at a drop of a dime, your life can change immediately.
It can.
And what will you say? You know what I mean? That you did every single second of every hour of minute. Were you happy? You know, and like that's the life that I'm living. Like I'm in a place where I want to connect with people and I want to show them that I'm living my dreams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna see me wiping a counter. You're not gonna see me doing anything I don't want to do anymore. All you're gonna see is this win.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's probably the most important thing. People don't appreciate how special just one day is. You know, I look at the calendar. I'm like, it's March 9th already. Like, what did I do yesterday?
Facts.
You know, like it doesn't even it goes so quickly. And you know, I think like 2 Chainz says a lot. Like, you know, you woke up today.
Facts.
That's a blessing. Like,
blessing, man.
And you know, whether you like his music or not, it's like
that's a fact.
It's a fact. Yeah, it's a fact, man.
That's all good music is today, honestly, and that's why like I packed the album just full of gems and facts. Like,
yeah.
People need to just hear straight, like to the point. You know what I mean?
Exactly, and I think that's what people get a lot. And you know, I think the way you can switch it up, you know, with the flows and
Thank you, man.
you go from you can do this little singing, you can do the rapping, you know. And while you were sleeping, you know, there was a nice cadence in there.
Yeah.
Where I love when people hit the back-to-back rhymes, you know, in 2 bars, like.
It shows technical skill.
Right.
I mean, I am a student of the culture. You know what I mean? So I've studied the AABB rhyme schemes, Nas' syllables.
Yeah.
That's what the prologue showed examples of.
Right.
I wanted to, with this album, keep those same concepts of lyrical ability, but just add a little bit more of songwriting.
Yeah,
I love songwriting. You know?
Yeah, I can tell.
It's an art, man. It's such an art. Like, I love it, man.
It is, and you really get the sense of that. You know, especially the fact that you can start off. You know, the first 4 or 5. The first 3 songs were really in that songwriter mood, and then. Then you have the monster hooks, and then you come back and like, all right, it's time to chill out again.
And you know what's crazy, man? Like I've been searching my whole life, out loud, what my sound would be, what I'm searching for, and I was just always sitting in studios where I was just like, everybody was saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, try this, try that, and I'm just like, everybody leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, it's got.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, I just gotta crash and burn. Like, crash and burn until I find, you know what I mean, just a little bit of something in the ash. You know what I mean? That can propel me. And I'm okay with doing that. And I'm not scared to release music. I'm not scared of critiques. Like, people hit me up all the time with, like, dope critiques, and then I take it, and I become a monster.
Yeah.
Next time, you know?
A lot of people can't handle criticism, but the ones that can and don't get deterred, like, they're not saying, like, don't do it.
Yeah,
and sometimes hate can just be, like, pure hate.
Well, you know the difference.
But exactly. Criticism is, like, maybe try this next time on that bar. Some people will go, no, I'm good.
I love that.
But yeah, exactly. And I think the people that are most successful are able to take criticism and find a way to make it work. Like, yeah, some people are going to sit there and just hate on you because that's what they do. They're trolls. That's what they do. But people have good intentions, but sometimes people take it the wrong way.
Yeah, of course.
But,
I mean, anybody who's trying to tell me to get better or provide me with any gem to do something positive with myself, like, I take that, you know?
Exactly.
Even if, like, I feel like it doesn't work, I still say thank you. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. It's being an artist. I think that's what being an artist is.
Yeah, man, if we're not in this to grow and actually put out music and try things, how are we going to learn? You know, you have to start a business and maybe lose one before you can learn how to run a successful one.
It's true.
You gotta fail sometimes, man. And not to say anything I've done is a failure, it's everything's a lesson.
Right, everything's a lesson.
Yeah, man. So when people listen to these records and they go back and listen to the prologue, they'll see the growth. They'll see, you know what I mean? Like, the notes got better, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's a night and day difference. Like, it's a completely different... Feels like, the sun rose and then the sun set, and now it's nighttime, and it's completely different.
See, there you go, the cover art right there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, and it's great. And I think you did a knockout job.
Thank you.
But I mean, we've been here talking for a minute. We don't talk their ears off. But what's coming next for you? You got a couple shows. You said you got some new music in the work, ready for the summer. So.
Yes, sir. Well, March 26th, I'm doing the album release concert here in New York City at Arlene's Grocery. So we're just hitting up everybody who supported us out here and just come out. I have awesome artists on the bill, Brittany Campbell, Paco, dope artists you'll get to meet, and they're just exceptionally talented themselves. themselves,
So,
and they just are coming out to show love. So I wanted to make sure my fans and anybody who's in that building gets the concert experience. You know what I mean?
for sure.
So besides that, this summer we are gearing up to release some new music,
Okay.
new tones, bigger production,
Dope.
and just more experimentation. So I don't want to ruin any surprises, but man, like when I say it's just if these things provided gems, like the stuff I've learned from this is just gonna show in the next like 6 months.
Absolutely.
So, and more videos.
And more videos.
And more videos.
You gotta have the videos.
Facts.
For sure. All right. We out.
Yeah, we out of here, man. Holla.